That's got to go down at least a 16th. There's a little curve in front of this thing, a little point right there, and where I cut it out with a bandsaw is about a 16th below where it is now. So that's got to go down, actually more than a 16th, straight down. The forward and backward is pretty close, but it's got to go straight in now. I just need to figure out where it's hitting and go down. Probably need to smoke this. Alright, I'm hitting something keeping me from going straight down. When I drew this on here for my initial bandsaw cut, I used this as a outline. Actually, I used this as an outline where this comes up and then back, and then it comes up and goes back. There's a point right there, and that point is right in that little crevice. So I cut that with my bandsaw, but the thing is, see, this thing is just really high. It's got to go down a long ways. So I've determined it's pretty much this whole mortar stout place right in here. This has got to drop about an 1/8, and I'll probably end up having to drop this spring where this spring goes down as well. I'm not sure about that. Actually, I've got a little bit of room between this spring and the bottom of that notch now, but I'm going to start by milling this down almost an 1/8 of an inch. Now, these kinds of shapes are difficult to deal with. When it's just a straight taper from here wide to narrow, and it's just a straight taper, that's easy, because if you get it a little too small, you just keep on cutting, and if you get it a little too big, you can just scoot it back a little bit and it'll tighten up because it's a taper. This is a compound shape. See, this thing's tapered down small, and then from here it goes from small to big. And when you go from small to big, if you go back, it loosens this up. The further you go back with this, the looser it gets on this section from here to here. The further you go back with this, the tighter it gets. So this is a push me, pull you type of a setup. It's a super good way of locking a piece of wood into around a piece of metal this way. When you're shifting forward to backward, this locks it in both ways. So it's a good system. It's just harder to do. It's harder to make that cut. So what I've got to do is be very careful and not widen this up any right in this little narrow place. See, I don't trust myself on that milling machine to get right up close to these edges. That's just a plain old hand operated milling machine. It's not a CNC. I'll cut out the depth because that gives me a uniform depth. But the edges I clean up with a hand chisel. And also keep in mind that this thing, the way it's made, these edges are tapered in. So this is the leading edge on top, and down here in the bottom it's recessed. So I can cut this on a taper. Alright, that's going down, and I don't see any huge gaps or any terrible tight places, but I'm going to smoke this to make this an easier process. And the reason why is if you drive something down with this tapered edge and the sharp edge on top, and you get this thing down too far and it's got so much resistance, when you drive it back out, you splinter this. You'll pull those, because that's so sharp, it'll splinter it off. Smoke. Okay, now that smoke, see it? Where it's rubbed off of this metal, it's rubbed onto here, and it shows me where it's hitting the hardest. So I can relieve that and make it just a little bit easier to pass in and out. You can see where it's hitting hard, where this black is. With smoke, you got to go very slowly, because you're dealing with just something as big as the molecule thickness of one little smidgen of smoke. That's all you're trying to take off, is just the thickness of a layer of smoke. So you got to do this several times. This is aluminum. It doesn't hurt the steel. I'm going to make a mark around the outside perimeter edge of this receiver, so I know if I have to relieve anything in the middle that I don't get past that line. I want this outer line to touch real hard and nothing else. I'm starting to get somewhere now with this smoking. It's starting to leave me some good prints. I'm getting to the point where I want to put pressure this way and back at the same time. Can't hardly get it out. Boy, that left me some good marks. Good marks. Excellent. Got this thing fitting pretty good around this front where it goes back and touches here, so the front of the wood is touching the back of the receiver, and I'm down about as far as I can go because the bottom, I've only got about a 30-second between this bottom metal This is proud of it right now, and I need that much to be able to put that bottom trigger tang in there and still have some to trim off. So I'm pretty close to the right position. The only thing I'm not positive about is back here in the back, if it's slanted down too far or up too far. And I'll know more when I cut the trigger in. But I'm pretty close where I need to be. I need to stop and try to put this trigger in. But it fits pretty good. I tapped it in there a minute ago, and it's about too hard to get out easily. I can pull it out, but it's not easy. So all these black marks I'm going to leave. I'm not going to go any further anywhere, back or down. It's pretty much touching everywhere, which is the point. I'll go ahead and mark this top hole. The threads are in the bottom of this thing, not in the top, so I'm not messing up the threads by putting that nail, that center punch in there. I've got that thing slanted a little bit towards the back so that when it comes in, it'll draw that thing back. Ain't that cute? Now this is sticking down 1/2 inch, so I can't really get this down to where this ball goes into where it's supposed to go. I can sort of look down and sort of tell where it is to get a starting cut. The problem is the width of all this hidden part is only about a 64th less than the outside part. So this is a very, very narrow path. I've got to cut that little block out.